What's up, everybody? It's Jordan, and welcome to the Sports Behind Show. In this video, I'm live on YouTube like every single video I do. Today is May 27th, 2021, and I'm continuing my series of doing some draft grades of each NFL division. My last draft grades video was of the NFC South, and this video is of the NFC South. Let's go ahead and get started here with this NFC South draft grades video. We'll start off with, in my opinion, the team who easily had the worst draft in the NFC South and probably had the worst draft of any team in the entire NFL, and that is the New Orleans Saints. With the Saints, they shocked a lot of people, and it took Houston edge rusher Peyton Turner. Lots of people have talked about the Raiders taking Alex Leatherwood at 17 being a horrific pick and being a big reach. I think Peyton Turner was the biggest reach of the draft, and it's not even close. The Saints had the 74th pick in the draft. That is a third-round pick, and I honestly believe Peyton Turner could have been there with that third-round pick. They took Peyton Turner. That's a huge reach. I liked him a lot, maybe in like a late second, early third situation. But with the 28th pick overall, that is absolutely ridiculous. There was at least 5 better edge rushers there than Peyton Turner from Houston. That is just a horrible pick there for the New Orleans Saints. It is a team need, but you definitely got him as your second-round pick, maybe even your third-round pick. That, in my opinion, is the biggest reach in the draft, and it's not even close. A horrible, horrible pick here to start off the draft by the New Orleans Saints. Their second-round pick, they took Pete Werner, the linebacker from Ohio State University. Honestly, I do not like this pick really at all. Either there was much better there was much better linebackers available here. For example, Pete Werner was not even the best linebacker at his school. I believe Baron Browning, another Ohio State Buckeye linebacker, was better than Werner here. I also like Jabril Cox a lot. I thought either one of those linebackers would have been great fits for the Saints because they could really use some more help at linebacker. Reach again here in the second round, taking Pete Werner. Another reach for a defensive player. Not a good way to start off the draft at all for New Orleans Saints, taking huge back-to-back reaches, in my opinion. In the third round, though, they do have a pick that I liked quite a bit. It took Stanford cornerback Paulson Adebo. This to me was right about where Paulson Adebo should have been drafted. He was one of the better players here available. You can make a case he was the best quarterback here available. They needed a corner. I thought this was a really nice pickup for the Saints, taking Paulson Adebo in the third. Honestly, that is the only pick I even liked a little bit for the Saints throughout their mock draft. As we continue here with the New Orleans Saints draft grades, in the fourth round, the Saints took Notre Dame quarterback Ian Book. This makes no sense at all. I know Jameis Winston has 1 year's contract. And Taysom Hill, that's a big question mark. You don't know what Sean Payton's going to have for Taysom Hill. But I really believe Jameis Winston's going to have a really, really nice year for the New Orleans Saints. Picking Ian Book here, instead of giving Jameis Winston or Taysom Hill, whoever is the starter week 1 for the Saints, that quarterback, you could have got either one of those guys, some top-tier wide receivers. There was some really nice wide receivers here still available in the fourth round. Taking Ian Book, it was not a team need. He was not best wide available. You can make a case he was even the best quarterback available. This was another horrible pick here by the Saints. Did not like this pick at all. As we continue here, the Saints had a 6th and a 7th round pick, and to close up their draft in the 6th, they took Kentucky offensive tackle Landon Young. In the 6th and 7th rounds, in my opinion, you always try to get best player available, and that's not at all what the Saints did there. There was much better offensive tackles there available. Did not really like that one much. And in the 7th, they took South Alabama wide receiver Kawan Baker. There was at least 3 to 5 wide receivers here that I would prefer over Kawan Baker from South Alabama, like Trey Walker, Jonathan Adams Jr. from Arkansas State, and many other wide receivers as well. Did not like this draft at all for New Orleans Saints. I definitely think they had the worst draft in the entire NFL, and it's not even close. I ended up giving the Saints my worst draft grade by far, and I gave the New Orleans Saints an overall draft grade of an F. As we continue here with the NFC South draft grades. The NFC South consists of the New Orleans Saints, the Atlanta Falcons, the Carolina Panthers, and the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, the defending Super Bowl champions. And next up on this draft grades is actually the Atlanta Falcons. The Atlanta Falcons had the 4th pick overall. And with that selection, they took Florida tight end Kyle Pitts. Part of me kind of thought the Falcons should have took a quarterback here at number 4, but Kyle Pitts is a tremendous talented player. Generational talent is a expression and term used in the NFL way too often when it comes around draft time. But Kyle Pitts is a generational type of talent with the 4th pick. I'm a big Bengals fan, and if Kyle Pitts would have fell to number 5, I honestly wanted the Bengals to take Kyle Pitts over Penei Sewell and Jamar Chase. So that shows you how much I am a big of a fan of Kyle Pitts. He might be my favorite prospect in this draft class, but I thought this was a great selection for the Atlanta Falcons. And it's very interesting now, with the Julio Jones situation. You have Calvin Ridley, who's capable of being a wide receiver 1. You have Kyle Pitts, who's going to be a great tight end in the NFL. Who knows what's next for Matt Ryan in the Atlanta Falcons? But as we continue here in round 2, the Falcons, Richie Grant, safety from UCF. They lost safety Ricardo Allen in free agency to the Cincinnati Bengals. Safety was one of their bigger needs, and they also lost Keanu O'Neal, for starting safety, to the Dallas Cowboys, reuniting with former Atlanta Falcons head coach Dan Quinn. Safety was a big need. Richie Grant was arguably the best safety available here. I thought it was a nice pickup for the Atlanta Falcons. The 3rd round, I thought they had a really nice deal getting Jalen Mayfield, the offensive tackle from Michigan University. I thought that was one of the best value picks for an offensive lineman in the entire NFL draft. Regardless who the quarterback is in the future for the Atlanta Falcons, you need some protection. That's exactly what the Falcons did there. Getting Mayfield in the 3rd, I thought that was a fantastic selection. The rest of the draft, though, in my opinion, was not really good at all by the Atlanta Falcons. They actually had 2 4th-round picks, and with those picks, they took Darren Hall, cornerback from San Diego State University. Not a horrible pick. Darren Hall was one of the better cornerbacks available. The corner is by far currently their worst position group right now, so getting some more corner depth is not a bad idea. And with their 2nd 4th-round pick, they took Drew Dahlman, center from Stanford University. They could use a little bit more interior offensive line help, but I still think there were some better players available here than getting Drew Dahlman in the 4th. That's kind of the situation to have with the Atlanta Falcons. To close out the draft, I really think the team should always take best player available when it comes to the final few rounds, and that's not at all, in my opinion, what the Atlanta Falcons did. The 5th round, they actually had 3 picks. They took Daquan Graham, defensive tackle from Texas University. They can use some more defensive line. Their defense was horrendous last season. Also, with another 5th-round pick, they took Adi Tokumbo Ojudiji. I know I pronounced that wrong horribly. Notre Dame edge rusher, and with their other 5th-round pick, they took Avery Williams, cornerback from Boise State. All 3 of those players there at their respective positions, none of those guys were top 3 at their position. Honestly, probably not even top 5. I just do not really like those picks at all for the Atlanta Falcons. But one pick here, their final pick of the 2021 NFL Draft, they took Frank Darby in the 6th round, wide receiver from Arizona State. I thought that was a decent pickup there. Could use some more wide receiver depth, especially with Julio. It looks now that he may not be with the Falcons this upcoming season. Frank Darby was a very underrated wide receiver in this draft class, and I think getting him there was very nice. And one of the more underrated receivers in this class, one of the more underrated receiver picks in this draft. I really liked how the Atlanta Falcons started off this draft, but as we got into the 4th, 5th, and 6th rounds, I did not really like it that much. But overall, I give the Atlanta Falcons an overall draft grade of a B-. As we continue here with this NFC South draft grades video, up next is the Carolina Panthers. And the Carolina Panthers were very active throughout the NFL draft. Had quite a few trades, trading down consistently, it seemed like, in day 2 of the draft. the Panthers had the 8th pick overall. With that selection, they surprised a lot of people in taking South Carolina cornerback J.C. Horn. J.C. Horn was arguably not even the best cornerback in the draft. This to me was not really a good pick. I think they possibly could have traded back a little bit, maybe the 13, 14 range. Still got him, but if you want your guy, go ahead and get him. Corner was a need for the Panthers, and getting Horn here, at a position standpoint, is a great idea. I just think it was a little bit of a reach. Like I said, the Falcons traded the Panthers had quite a few trades, and they did not pick towards in the second round until one of the last picks in the second round. And with that selection, they took one of my favorite selections here in the 2021 draft. It's one of the best fits of any player on any team. They took Harris Marshall Jr., the wide receiver from LSU University. I love this pick so much. Pairing him with DJ Moore, who's arguably the most underrated receiver currently in the NFL. We pair him back with offense coordinator Joe Brady, who they spent time together at LSU during the historic national championship season. Giving Sam Darnold some nice weapons, that's something he did not have during his time with the New York Jets. I love this pick here for the Panthers. Definitely one of my favorite picks of the draft. I would say this pick right here and probably Rashawn Slater going to 13 to the Chargers are some of my favorite picks of the draft. They actually had 2 third-round picks, and with those picks, they took Brady Christensen, offense tackle from BYU. I thought it was a pretty solid pickup. You have to get some offensive linemen for Sam Darnold. You do not want him getting sacked like he did during his time with the Jets. And with their second, third-round pick, they took Tommy Tremble, the tight end from Notre Dame. Not really like this pick much here. I definitely think they could have got him with their next pick. But I understand them getting tight end because they could really use some tight ends. But I really liked Brevin Jordan from Miami, Florida quite a bit. I thought that made a lot more sense. He dropped quite a bit due to his horrific pro day. Ended up going to the Houston Texans in the 5th round. But Tommy Tremble there in the 3rd, I think, is a little bit of a reach. As we continue here, the Carolina Panthers in the 4th round, so a very interesting pick, taking Chuba Hubbard, the running back from Oklahoma State. I like this pick because the Panthers, they did not take a team need. They took best player available. And I really, excuse me, I really like the philosophy there for the Panthers, taking best player available rather than a team need. Chuba Hubbard, is going to be the replacement for Mike Davis. He was the replacement for Christian McCaffrey this past season. McCaffrey was injured some this past season, but Davis signed with the Atlanta Falcons. Hubbard and McCaffrey is a very, very nice running back duo. In the 5th round, they had some awesome selections. They took Devion Nixon, defensive tackle from Iowa. He should not have been there. That's a fantastic pick there. Absolute steal. One of the best players available. Also in the 5th, they took Keith Taylor, the corner from Washington University. They tapped corner in round 1 and get some more corner depth in round 5 and taking Taylor. That's a nice selection. In the 6th round, they took Deontay Brown, the guard from Alabama. I love this pick here. Deontay Brown fell quite a bit in the draft because he's actually too big. I know it sounds crazy, but teams were kind of concerned, drafting him. As you can see the measurables here, he's 6'3", 344 pounds. Teams were concerned about drafting him because of limited athleticism. I love this pick here. Matt Rule took a chance on Deontay Brown. Nobody else would. I think has a chance to be one of the biggest steals in the 2021 NFL draft. And to close out the last couple of picks here for the Carolina Panthers, it took Shi Smith, the wide receiver from South Carolina, to give Sam Darnold even more weapons. I really like that pick there. I think it was a really nice sleeper pick there for the Carolina. Also in 6th, they took Thomas Fletcher, a long snapper from Alabama. Don't really like that pick. I mean, a long snapper, you can get them as an undrafted free agent. I do not like that pick at all there. There's much better players available there than a long snapper. And it closes out. They took Phil Hoskins, the defensive tackle for Kentucky, getting even more depth at defensive tackle. I really think Matt Rule and Joe Brady have a great future with the Carolina Panthers. They've had back-to-back drafts, having very successful drafts. I ended up giving the Carolina Panthers an overall draft grade of a B+, and do not be shocked by the Carolina Panthers are in playoff contention in the 2021 NFL season. Our final team of the NFC South draft grades is the defending champs, the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. It's absolutely crazy because if you told somebody just 2 years ago Tom Brady is going to go to the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, won his Super Bowl there, Gronkowski comes to retirement, you would basically be laughed at. But that's just crazy. The NFL headlines past 2 seasons have been insane. Let's go ahead and get started with this Tampa Bay Buccaneers draft grades. In the first round, they took outside linebacker Joe Tryon from Washington. The Buccaneers, they don't have any team needs. Throughout this draft, they took best player available, and that's the way they should have done, and that's why they had such a great draft. Joe Tryon, some of the guys on defense are up there in age, and you have some contracts coming up soon. Joe Tryon was one of the best defensive players available there. I really like that fit for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, taking Tryon in the first. I love the second round pick. They took Kyle Trask, the quarterback from Florida. Trask could possibly be the successor of Tom Brady, and I know we've heard this for years. Jimmy Garoppolo, Jarrett Stidham, other guys as well. But I think Kyle Trask, he could learn so much from Tom Brady. I like Trask quite a bit. The thing about Trask going to the Buccaneers I like a lot is that, he's not going to be having to throw for 400 yards, 300 yards to win you a game. The Buccaneers have the type of talent where, if Kyle Trask has to come into a game if Tom Brady gets injured, Kyle Trask can win you a game. He's not going to have to put the game on his shoulders. They already have the talent. They just need him to play turnover-free football. And I really like that pick there, taking Kyle Trask. That might be my favorite quarterback fit for any team who selected the quarterback in the 2021 draft. Let's continue here. They took Notre Dame offensive tackle Robert Hainsey in the third round. I'm still getting some more protection for Tom Brady. That's not a bad idea at all, especially how old he is. But I think this might have been a little bit of a reach there. That might be my least favorite pick of the Buccaneers draft. But it's not a horrible pick by any means. In the fourth round, I love this pick so much as well. It took North Texas wide receiver Jalen Darden. And, if you've seen some of my mock draft videos I did, heading into the draft, you would know that Jalen Darden was one of my favorite draft prospects in this draft class, right up there with Kyle Pitts and Zach Wilson. I think Jalen Darden has what it takes to possibly be the next Tyreek Hill. You could style of play. They're very, very similar. Their measurables, they're very, very comparable. I love this pick. You're getting even some more depth at wide receiver for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. The Buccaneers' fifth round pick, they took a linebacker from Auburn, KJ Britt. KJ Britt was one of the better linebackers available here in the fifth. And I thought it was a nice pickup here for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers. Just getting more nice depth value picks here in the 2021 draft. And to close it out, they had 2 seventh-round picks. And with those seventh-round picks, they took Chris Wilcox at corner from BYU, getting more depth at corner, which I do not think is a bad idea at all. Because if you had to pick one position group on defense that's the worst for the Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I would say possibly could be corner. And with their last pick of the draft, Mr. Irrelevant, it took outside linebacker from Houston, Grant Stroud. I honestly liked Grant Stroud quite a bit heading into the draft. I thought he was one of the more sleeper players on the defensive side of the ball. And in fact, he goes to the Buccaneers, getting more great talent on defense. Man, I would be honestly shocked if the Tampa Bay Buccaneers do not end up winning the Super Bowl, despite having the last pick in the first round, and the second, third, and the very last pick of the 2021 draft. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers have one of the best drafts in the NFL. That is absolutely crazy to say. The team who won the Super Bowl, who had the last pick in the first 3 rounds, had one of the best drafts. Tampa Bay really just had this draft and absolutely hit it out of the ballpark. This was fantastic by Bruce Arians and everybody involved in Tampa Bay. And, I know I'm saying the obvious, but Tampa Bay Buccaneers do not be shocked at all if they end up, winning the Super Bowl again. The Tampa Bay Buccaneers, in my opinion, I had a fantastic draft, and I gave Tampa Bay an overall draft grade of an A. That was kind of my NFC South draft grades video. Kind of recap this one more time. The New Orleans Saints had the worst draft grades yet, and I gave them an overall draft grade of an F. The Atlanta Falcons had an overall draft grade of a B-. The Carolina Panthers had a nice draft, getting a draft grade of a B+. And the Tampa Bay Buccaneers had a draft grade of an A. Thank you all so much for listening. If you like this video and subscribe to the channel, I would greatly appreciate it. And I will see you next time on the Sports Behind Show.